Welcome to day 2, not only of the week, but of us trying out a new name for the show. Thank you to the suggestions off YouTube, the National Briefing with Kelly Nash. And we are talking about the nation and perhaps Donald Trump's, this is a shocking development in my own mind, the most adamant partner that Donald Trump has in Donald Trump's number one mission to make America great again via draining the swamp. You have to drain the swamp if your goal is to make America great again. Donald Trump has not drained the swamp as of yet. He's gotten a bunch of swamp creatures out, but the swamp is still very alive and kicking. His new best ally is a guy you've probably heard of named Joe Biden. I'm thinking, I know that sounds insane to say, but Joe Biden is, I believe, he in his mind, whatever's left of it, he doesn't want to go down as the most inept president in history. I want to go down for something. If you go back to last summer, Joe Biden had already won the nomination, and he was set to face off with Donald Trump in November. They have that debate. It goes horribly wrong. The Democrats closed ranks and at first said, he had a bad night. Everybody has a bad night. This is not indicative of who he is. Joe Biden is still at the top of his game. That was the official talking point that all the media was saying and all the Democrats were saying. Something happened, probably polling, internal polling, that showed America's not buying this anymore. America is moving on from Joe Biden. Donald Trump's about to landslide this place. So if you remember, the internal talking that was getting leaked was the power brokers inside the Democrat Party were looking for somebody to maybe just have like a couple of people go into like some sort of competition where they could re-primary each other, or even just be hand selected by Barack Obama. Barack Obama's guy was Mark Kelly, allegedly, from Arizona. There was other people who wanted the governor from Pennsylvania. There was several people's names being floated. None of those names included the name Kamala Harris. Joe Biden on a random Sunday afternoon just tweeted out, "I'm out. And by the way, the vice president, Kamala Harris, has my full support. I think she's more than qualified to be the president." Once he put that out there, they couldn't take it away from her because she clicks all the boxes. First female president in history. It's going to be amazing. A black female or an Indian female. She's a myriad of boxes. This is a dream for the Democrats, except they all knew she had zero chance of winning, basically. Now, they gave it the best shot they could. They came up with over $1 billion over like a weekend for her, and she piddled through it, and I think she got closer than I would have ever guessed. Could have been a number of reasons for that, but whatever. But Joe Biden stuck it in the eye of the Democrat Party. Now Joe Biden is sitting on his beach in Delaware, and he's just watching this whole slow-rolling disaster called the AutoPen scandal. And in the middle of all that, his doctor is called up in front of Congress, and he pleads the fifth when asked the question, were you ever asked to lie about the president's mental condition? That is a simple hell no. I was never asked to lie or be in part of a cover-up. But you said I plead the fifth. Uh-oh. Yikes. Americans are now getting a little nervous now, or at least the Bidens were. I'm not nervous. But Joe Biden then, on the heels of that, says, let me help, and calls the New York Times. He wanted to be interviewed. The New York Times interviews Joe Biden. And again, I know you don't get a subscription on the New York Times. I wouldn't either. The New York Times, if you actually stumble across it, their headlines, I call their headlines head fakes because it's usually the exact opposite of the truth. They will oftentimes bury the truth around paragraph 17. But if you read the headline in the first 2 or 3 paragraphs, you're going to think that the story is headed in one completely different direction. So you have to get to like paragraph 17. I think they do that so that in the future, when people call them out on it, they say, wait, it's right there in the report. Did you not read the report? You just got to get to paragraph 17. According to Joe Biden, who again called in for this interview, it was Stephanie Feldman who decided what to have put on the auto pen. She would, quote, receive blurbs or written accounts confirming what I wanted done. Blurbs or written accounts. Did she see you write those accounts? Did she hear you? No. No, she did not. Joe Biden confirmed that Stephanie Feldman never heard him give direct orders. On top of that, also, my assistants who often drafted the blurbs were not actually in the room to hear Biden give the order, according to the New York Times. Why would you say this? Unless your goal is to drain the swamp. This is like the right-wingers of this country could not have crafted this any more perfect. And the fact that they're not running with this, to me, is amazing. This should be almost the only story on Newsmax, Fox News, New York Post, insert anybody who's center or right. Because Joe Biden just gave an interview in which he says, in essence, nobody knows what I actually wanted. They just did it on their own. Stephanie Feldman was the one who created the 6 Joe Biden signatures. Because remember, they have already done the investigation. All of the signatures that Joe Biden had during his administration came down to basically 6, if you didn't see him sign it live. 6 different signatures. She picked which signature goes for which type of. But now Joe Biden is saying Stephanie and a couple of assistants who never heard anything that I said came up with their own version of what we should be signing. Wow. And when it comes to this all started because of just these mass pardons. Joe Biden, if you just look it up, Joe Biden gave more pardons or total acts of clemency in his one administration than Donald Trump, Barack Obama, George W. Bush, and Bill Clinton combined. Clinton, Bush, Obama all did 2 terms. Combined, Donald Trump's first term, and this includes when Donald Trump got back in as number 47, the first thing he did was he stroked a class action, basically, pardon for anybody involved or with the January 6th riots. So that's 1,600 people or so. Add them all up, Joe Biden did more than double, including one for 6,500 people convicted of federal marijuana offenses. Did everybody get a pardon? No. Because there's hundreds of thousands of people who got federal marijuana offenses. So there's people currently sitting in jail right now who may have been sitting in a jail cell right next to somebody else who they did the exact same thing. They might have even done it together. And one of them walked and the other one didn't. Why? How did you pick them? Susie Feldman did it. She's the one who picked them, apparently, or some random staffer picked the 6,500 people. Nobody knows how this happened. Joe Biden wants you to know that the place is corrupt as hell, and please pay attention. When Donald Trump ends his posts by saying, thank you for your attention to this matter, Joe Biden is telling you, I need your attention on this matter. The swamp is out of control.